The Los Angeles Dodgers just dominated their way to winning their second World Series ring in the last 5 years, after beating the New York Yankees in just 5 games. But this win has some people concerned about what this means for the future of Major League Baseball. The Dodgers had a payroll well over the luxury tax threshold, and that's without even paying the game's best player, Shohei Ohtani, more than just $2 million because of contract deferrals. The Dodgers have one of the biggest super teams ever assembled on paper after spending over $1 billion in free agency the season before, and then they won a ring. Low market teams are in trouble, and high market teams will reign supreme because of the payroll issues, right? Well, it's not that simple. Major League Baseball does not have a hard salary cap like the NFL or NBA does, but they do have something which is called the luxury tax, which basically gives a tax on the franchises for the amount of money that they go over the threshold by. For example, in 2025, the luxury tax threshold is set at $237 million. So if a team gets their payroll to $240 million, they will then have a minor tax put on their payroll. However, if another team goes up to $300 million, they will get a substantial tax on their payroll due to the fact that they made it into a worse tier of the luxury tax. There are 3 main tiers for the tax, each which gets worse for the team that gets into them. However, there are some teams like the New York Mets who just have so much money because their owner is Steve Cohen, who is currently ranked 39th on the Forbes 400, meaning he's the 39th richest man in the entire world. With that being said, Cohen and the Mets don't care much about the tax at all, so if they want to go over, they will. The Dodgers aren't quite as rich. However, them and the New York Yankees have the 2 biggest brands in baseball, and because of that make more revenue than anyone else, making the tax threshold less important to those 2 teams as well. Although recently the Yankees owner said that fielding a $300 million payroll consistently is just not sustainable from a business standpoint. Either way, let's get back to the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers made about $550 million in revenue during the 2024 regular season, according to Forbes, while spending $241 million on their players, which puts them at 5th in Major League Baseball in payroll, behind the Mets, Yankees, Astros, and Phillies. However, as I mentioned in the intro, the Dodgers spent over $1 billion in this free agency, signing Shohei Ohtani to a 10-year, $700 million deal, Yoshinobu Yamamoto to a 12-year, $325 million deal, Teoscar to a 1-year, $15 million deal, and Tyler Glasnow receiving a 5-year, $136 million contract. This is an insane amount of money spent in one offseason. The reason why the payroll was able to remain so low is because of a big controversy of the offseason, the Dodgers' deferral strategy. Let's start by looking at Yamamoto's contract, where he made $9 million in 2024, when he should have been averaging $27 million per season over the next 12 years. The next 2 seasons, he's making $16 million, and then the remaining 9 seasons after that, he's making around $33 million per season. So they are pushing money back later into his contract to continue to currently field a super team. Now, this is normal. Backloaded contracts are something that happens in every single sport and are just a certain way that contracts are made. Some players like it more like this, teams like it more like this sometimes as well because it gives you more of a window of winning. This is not really controversial. This is just what happens. However, the Dodgers did something even more insane with Shohei Ohtani, who made just $2 million this season and will continue to make just $2 million every year throughout this 10-year contract. Then, after the 10 years are up and Shohei is most likely retired, the Dodgers will be forced to give Ohtani $68 million per year over the next 10 years. This is going to hypothetically destroy their future, but for now, they get Shohei Ohtani at just 3 times higher than the league minimum salary for the next 9 years. Because of this, the Dodgers are now looking to go after Juan Soto and Japanese superstar Roki Sasaki in free agency, potentially employing the same deferral strategies in the future. If they land Juan Soto and Roki Sasaki, this is probably the greatest baseball team ever assembled. Just throwing that out there. Now, technically, this is not against the rules. However, it definitely seems like a bit of a gray area. But let's be honest, just because you have the money does not mean you are going to be winning the World Series. The New York Mets, although they had a great season this year, have been disappointing in the last 3 to 4 seasons before the surprising season with the highest payroll in baseball. The Colorado Rockies are around the middle of the pack in payroll while consistently being one of the worst teams in baseball even with that payroll, and part of this is definitely because of Chris Bryant eating a huge chunk of the contract and never playing baseball, but that's not the point. This also applies to the Los Angeles Angels, who paid multiple players massive contracts and have had zero postseason success in recent years. The Yankees have also spent the most money over the past 15 years and have not won a World Series. So is spending money really what makes a team win the World Series? It definitely helps, but it's not everything. You have to spend the money in the correct spot and use the money wisely. If you don't, you might not as well even be spending in the first place. With that being said, did the Dodgers buy their World Series ring? The short answer is yes, but there is also a longer answer that is much more messy. Yes, but also no? The Dodgers are only in this situation that they are in right now because of how well they have been able to develop players in the minors. They do it just as well as low market teams like the Tampa Bay Rays and Cleveland Guardians. Yes, they may have extended Mookie Betts to a mega contract, but they wouldn't have even had him in 2020 if they didn't have a great farm system to trade for him. And yes, the trade was horrible for the Red Sox, but those were top prospects at the time even if it didn't pan out. They also traded for Tyler Glasnow before extending him, and their ability to maximize their pitchers is something that not every team can do. Even when guys go down, they have guys in the minors step up and are able to contribute at a major league level because of how they are able to develop pitching. Yes, they gave Freddie Freeman a mega contract, same with Yamamoto and Ohtani, but the Betts and Glasnow contracts were available due to trades, which again is only possible due to how good they run their organization. They also have developed Max Muncy, Will Smith, and a few other integral parts of that offense. Basically what I'm saying is, yes, they did buy their ring, but the only reason why they were able to buy a ring the way that they did is because they are by far the most advanced organization in baseball. They develop better than everyone else, they almost always make the right trades, and they maximize everyone on their roster. You can buy a championship in baseball only if you know exactly how to spend your money. So stop harping on the Dodgers spending so much money and harp on your own owners who are billionaires for not spending their own money.